What's going on? Cody to WWE. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the update. So, I came on here the day that it was announced that Cody Rhodes was leaving AEW, and the speculation began. Was he going to come back to WWE? Like, no, he's not coming back. And the chatter just picked up more and more and more that day, and people started believing. I'm like, shit, come on, give me a fucking break. He's still in AEW. He's still under contract. Just because they're releasing this press information doesn't mean he actually left. This is a work. It's all an angle. Well, it kept going and kept going and snowballing. There was talks of him going to Japan, Ring of Honor, still back to WWE. And then it kind of fizzled there for about a week period where, okay, maybe we did get played. About time Revolution was going on. And then after that, it's been full gear. Cody is signed to WWE. There are tweets saying that he has done something big, wink, wink. And basically all Dave Meltzer, Cultaholic, What Culture, The Dirt Sheets, Wrestling Inc., all the major news sources are saying he has signed a contract. And Meltzer specifically is talking constantly about how basically Cody's going to show up at WrestleMania, kind of like the Hardys did several years back, or like an Undertaker versus John Cena match at WrestleMania. Rollins will be in the ring, and Cody just, his entrance music hits, and then he comes to the ring, and they have an impromptu match. To me, that seems completely fucking ridiculous, even as I'm saying it out loud. Why would you do that? Like, I know all the smarks reading the dirt sheets know about this news, but why would you not hype it? You've got one more Raw before WrestleMania, and you're not gonna, if you have him under contract, you're not gonna have him show up on Raw to get more people to watch WrestleMania. We're just basing this all off of the assumption that he really did sign a contract and he's just gonna surprise show up at WrestleMania. I know WWE's business making decisions on Raw and SmackDown are pretty questionable at best, but this is just bad booking for the sake of bad booking. So if that actually ends up happening, if Cody Rhodes does just magically appear at WrestleMania, what was the point? To have a match with Rollins? Rollins has been the feature of this entire non-feud build, and he's going to have to lose. You don't bring Cody back to lose, so yeah, obviously Rollins would have to take the big loss here. So I don't understand what's gained by this, other than just an acquisition of another guy that they mishandled in the first place, went off, made a name for himself, started a company, and then came back for a big payday, just to have a quick impromptu match with Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, and then he will fade back into the background after that. It doesn't make sense. It's still, and I say this out loud, and I'm going back to my original prediction. This is a fucking work, people. It has to be. There's no other explanation. I understand the money's there. I do. I get it. The money is definitely there, but the money was with Tony Khan too. So really, what would this be about? Legacy? I mean, give me a break. His WWE run? Stardust? What is he trying to prove to everybody? Because the fans in AEW started seeing through his bullshit, like I told you all about when AEW first started. I said, look, Cody's too far up his own ass. He needs to get out of his own way. And finally, everybody caught up, and they turned on it. Are you telling me they really drove him away back into the arms of Vince McMahon? I don't believe it. I can't believe it. I cannot wrap my head around this concept. I don't think that this is real. The only thing that's making me think that this could almost possibly be real is that they've been dropping hints during Raw. Corey Graves specifically has been dropping hints, saying stupid things like Seth Rollins is at a crossroads, or his WrestleMania hopes are dashed. They're dropping little, this is such a nightmare for Seth Rollins. I don't. That's the only thing that's making me think. Steven says, you underestimate WWE write mental brain damage. They are good at writing brain damage. I agree, Steven. But it's just, that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's made me kind of second guess my prediction of this is bullshit. I guess it would make sense. If you have a speculation out there that you've re-signed a guy who is linked to AEW, and people want to believe it, let them believe it. Hell, stoke the fire. Why not? Throw those little jibs out there during Raw. Let Corey Graves say that stuff. Let people believe it. Let people buy the Peacock Network or buy WrestleMania on pay-per-view to watch it, to see Cody Rhodes show up. Hell yeah, why not? Why not let people believe what they want to believe? And when he doesn't show up, well, we never said he was coming. That's brilliant. But the other brilliant part of this is people on the AEW side, the specific AEW fanboys, are freaking out about this. They hated him at the end of his run. And now that he's gone, wink, wink, supposedly, allegedly, they hate him even more because they are convinced that he's going back to WWE. So it's kind of beautiful on both sides. When it comes prediction time next week for WrestleMania, I don't know what I'll actually end up predicting, but I know in my heart, I'm still sticking with my original prediction, folks. This has been a work from the start. Cody said late last year, I'm going to be involved in a storyline or an angle that's never been done before, that you've never seen before. This is it. This is the storyline. He didn't leave AEW. His contract did expire, yes. Does that mean he didn't re-sign? Maybe, but he has all the intention in the world to go back to AEW. And that was the other precursor I said. If he doesn't actually leave AEW, or excuse me, if he does leave AEW and he signs with WWE, it's going to be a short-term thing. He'll do his quick WrestleMania match if he has one, or he'll do his run, and he will end up back in AEW because that's where he should be. He will be just another face in the crowd at WWE. He's not going to be in the world title picture, and if he is, it'll be a very short-lived one. I don't think he'll win the gold. So, again, I don't see what's to be gained. And if I'm Cody Rhodes, I don't... Why tarnish your legacy? You did everything right. Everything right to make your name bigger than it ever could have been in WWE. Just to go back now that it's big, and you're going to just kind of be another medium-sized fish in a really big pond? Yeah, I don't see it. This is still a work. Cody Rhodes ain't coming to WWE. He's not going to be at WrestleMania. I'm sticking with it, folks. But yeah, if you look at the... I did want to share this. If you just Google it, like Cody to WWE, this is what pops up. Let's just read some of the headlines. Wrestling Inc. Backstage news on how WWE may present Cody Rhodes. Chris Jericho confirms Cody Rhodes' WWE return, says Wrestling Headlines. Yeah, he dropped a tidbit about Cody being back in WWE. I think there's just too much effort here. Too many people are making it too obvious. Too many people are saying Cody in WWE. I think they're just trying. They've instilled this idea in our heads, and I think it's paying off. I mean, hey, K-Fab's alive. I think this is great that people are allowing themselves to believe something. I think it's great. They're doing a great job selling this point. 411 Mania. High-profile people in WWE pushing Vince to keep Cody Rhodes' AEW aesthetic, the American Nightmare aesthetic. Cultaholic. WWE higher-ups pushing for Cody Rhodes to retain the American Nightmare presentation. Wrestling Inc. News on what Cody's sister was referring to when she said Dusty Rhodes would be proud, and they assumed it was talking about his big WWE return. Wrestling Observer. Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. There you go. Like, that's what it is. All like this. WWE officials are adamant Cody Rhodes beat everything he was in AEW, says the Sportster. So it is. It's like they paid off the journalists to buy this thing hook, line, and sinker. And if they did, I applaud them. Like, Tony Khan's got that fuck you money. And if he wanted to pay off some of the journalists to pretend like this is actually happening, great. Hell, maybe he threw somebody in Gorilla at WWE, or fucking Corey Graves himself a couple of hush money bucks to stoke the fire. I think that's great. I think it's fantastic that people believe this. This will be a very delectable prediction if it is proven that I am correct about this one. Now, I'll be honest. My prediction powers felt a little bit waning when it started looking like I might be wrong on this one, but it's not over yet, folks. And I think in the end, Tony G will once again be vindicated on this one. So, real quick, again, I don't think Cody's coming to WWE. Double now.